Well, hi there, Internet. My name's Court, and you've got courtside seats for my review of Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales. Savvy? Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales, which will hereafter be referred to as Pirates 5, is directed by Joachim Running, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Espen Sandberg. Obviously, it's the fifth film in the franchise. Now, as per usual, this review will be pretty much spoiler-free. My general rule of thumb is if you've seen the trailers, I'm not going to give anything away. So the premise of this movie. Will Turner's son Henry is trying to locate the movie's MacGuffin, the Trident of Poseidon, which can cancel any curse laid upon the high seas, so that he can save his father from an eternity beneath the waves. Meanwhile, Karina, an orphan, who is introduced as a witch due to her proclivity for science, is seeking the trident because the father that she never knew left her a diary that would eventually lead her to the artifact. Jack Sparrow gets involved and hijinks ensue. Something like that. Now, full transparency, I haven't seen Pirates 3 or 4, and I barely remember Pirates 2. I really liked the first Pirates movie. Now, I did do my due diligence. I read the premise for each of the movies before going into this one just to make sure I wasn't going to be completely lost, and it worked out fine. So first, let's talk about the good in this movie, because there's a lot of good in this movie. The acting is anywhere from adequate to excellent. There aren't any, straight-up bad performances in this movie. Johnny Depp is the Jack Sparrow that we know. He's become even more of a caricature over the years. He's kind of a cartoon. He's drunk all the time, but the guy is fun to watch. Jeffrey Rush. What do you need to say about Jeffrey Rush? He's Casanova freaking Frankenstein. I love Jeffrey Rush. I loved him in this movie as Barbossa, as I loved him in the first one as Barbossa. Javier Bardem is the main big bad of the movie, Captain Salazar. He's awesome. He's frightening. He's intense. Jock Spottle. Love the way he says it. Javier Bardem kicks ass. And Sir Paul McCartney's in this movie for some reason. I don't care. I'll take it. Pirates 5 is visually stunning. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of film. The CGI is pretty good throughout. There were a couple of moments where it looked a little bit green screen, but I really can't complain. At one point, they go to this island, and I don't want to say anything about it, but it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, and I really want to live on that island, except that it isn't real. The makeup in this movie, again, we're talking about Captain Salazar and his crew, it's a mixture of prosthetic special effects makeup and CG, and it's seamless. They look incredible and scary. And all in all, when we're talking about the good things about this movie, it's a lot of fun. It's a ride, and I was into it. But now, let's talk about the bad. First off, the editing. A word that I can't say without sounding drunk. Editing. I always stumble. Editing, and it's fine. Editing, and I sound like a drunk. The editing in this movie is all over the place. I'm reminded, or as I like to say, remound, because I'm an idiot. I'm remound of Batman vs. Superman, a movie that I enjoyed, but wasn't very good, and goodness gracious me, the editing in that movie was all over the place, as it is in this. They'll set something up in one sequence, and the next shot, they're there, and they kind of play it for jokes, but no foreplay whatsoever, and you're just there, and it's not confusing. I followed along perfectly well, but it is really, really jarring. Another thing this movie does, particularly a lot in the first act, and a lot of movies do this, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, and here it doesn't work, and I can't quite articulate why, but we're cutting between two different sequences. So we're in this sequence, and we're getting ready to transition into this sequence, but before we do, we hear a line of dialogue from this sequence while we're still looking at this sequence, before cutting to this sequence. And it's jarring, it doesn't work. I'm not sure why it works in some movies, but it really, really doesn't here. Also with the editing of the action sequences. This is something we see in Hollywood all the time. People complain about it all the time. Nobody seems to like it, and yet they keep doing it. I don't know why. But the shaky handheld cam in the middle of an action sequence, which is shot really close and then cut really fast, so you cannot tell what's going on. That's a huge problem with this movie. Why hasn't Hollywood learned that people don't like it? Bad Hollywood! Stop that, Hollywood! It really doesn't work. I want to talk about the British Navy in this movie. They're about as good at their jobs as stormtroopers in Star Wars. These people are useless. They get tricked. They get outrun. Somebody pushes over a bookcase and the chase is over. That didn't actually happen. That was just something off the top of my head. But they're bumbling fools. David Wenham, you're bad at your job. Not acting, but commanding a navy. Now again, I said I'm going pretty spoiler-free on this review. What I'm going to talk about is in the trailers, but just to be safe, I'm going to put a spoiler warning up on the screen, and if you want to skip it, just scrub ahead until it's not there anymore. There are ghost sharks in this film. Cool. I'm into ghost sharks, that's great. But I did have one serious problem with the ghost sharks. They growl. Have we learned nothing from Jaws 4, Hollywood? Sharks don't growl. They don't have vocal cords. Now yes, this is a nitpick and it really took me out of the movie, which is ridiculous. Because I am perfectly fine with a movie having ghost sharks. It just bothers me with the scientific inaccuracy that they growl. But again, as I mentioned earlier, I am in fact an idiot. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you may know this. If you haven't, I'm going to say it straight up. I don't like 3D. I think it's a gimmick, but I get that some people really, really like it. I try and avoid seeing movies in 3D whenever possible. This one, I didn't have the option, so I had to see it in 3D. So when I am forced to see things in 3D, I try and look for things to critique about the 3D. Do they do something interesting with it? Is it a good transfer? So I usually in my reviews, I like to say, is it worth spending extra money on, particularly if you're just okay with 3D. In this movie, unless you're a huge 3D head, don't spend the extra money. The 3D is not interesting. It doesn't add anything to the film. The 3D further confuses the already confusing action sequences. And this is my biggest problem with it, particularly in this movie. 3D by its nature darkens the image on screen. The first 10 minutes of this movie, the cold open, if you will, is all like dark shots. I could barely see what I was looking at. I would recommend not spending the extra money unless you're like, you just can't see movies unless they're in 3D. So I have like a lot of negative things to say about this movie, but that got me thinking last night after I got out of the flick. That's the beauty of cinema. I have a lot of problems with this movie, but I had a great time watching it. I wasn't laughing out loud as much as the rest of the crowd, but I also wasn't checking my watch. I came out with a smile on my face. I didn't feel like I had wasted the money, so hey, can't complain. Now, I don't have a proprietary rating system as of yet, so I'm just trying to think of what I'm going to give this movie. Pirates 5 is by no means a but it's also not a blah. I'm going to give Pirates 5 a solid out of 10. Have you seen this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you want to join the British Navy so you'd have an easy life of coasting? Whatever your thoughts, hit the comments below, let's discuss. So that's my review of Pirates 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please like and share this video because it totally helps me to build this channel. And if you would like to subscribe to this channel, you can do so by clicking the Court Shake logo on the bottom right. I don't know which way it is. Bottom right of your screen should be popping up anytime now. New episode of my entertainment news show, The Storyboard, goes up tomorrow afternoon. That's Saturday. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.